The views and opinions expressed by our host and guests are of their own opinion and experience and are not representative of their occupations, houses of worship, or any other intellectual property. Athens Avenue is not liable for its audience's adaptation of said experience over the next hour.
What is Athens Ave? Athens Ave is a hangout where the body of Christ can come and wrestle with our witness in the world that is becoming increasingly intolerant to our presence, to our position, and most of all, the praise to our God. What is Athens Ave? It's where we give a biblical worldview on life and ministry and seek to courageously respond to it as it's happening. You never know who you might see on Athens Ave. On Athens Ave, you're going to hear gossip in the pew. You're going to hear a fight in this corner. And on Athens Ave, we'll provide wisdom from the men of Issachar. It's always going down on Athens Ave. Make sure you make it right on Athens Ave. What's good? What's good? We might have to change the song because now we got next, so we might have to change
I'm grooving.
I'm
grooving? Sorry. Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm grooving. I'm gonna have to add in there and we got next. Somewhere in there, we gotta figure it out. But how are you? How was your week?
I'm good. Week is going.
Yeah. Can you believe it's November already?
Yeah. Right. You see, I got the hoodie on.
Yeah.
High Gear Central High.
Exactly.
244. Die memories will never die. So, okay.
But you ain't tell me you was wearing your. Last time we did that by accident. It was crazy because you had on CHS, I had on GHS, and everybody was hating. All the other folks, that work with us was hating.
Yeah, well, PK always hating. RDub from the suburbs, so it don't matter.
So it don't matter. Okay, so with that being said, let me just go ahead and go to my favorite segment. What's good, everybody? This one should be interesting. Okay, this is going to be an interesting video. I am forewarning everyone right now. I've got something to tell you. I've got some news in the pew.
When you're disobedient to what God tells you to do, especially in the realm of finances, you reap a curse upon yourself. And for those of you that have been a part of this ministry, I'm just going to talk prophetically here. You've been a part of this ministry. You've watched your family get saved. You've watched your family be healed. You've received personal miracles in your own body, in your family, and your finances. And you've left this place because you've gotten your feelings. You got your feelings hurt. You're immature and you're a reprobate. We've had more people in positions of leadership that have been here for 20 plus years come and say that they're thinking about going somewhere else because they no longer agree with pastors' politics. When did politics have anything to do with the kingdom?
Your feelings will take you to hell. Shout, I'm coming out of my feelings.
Coming out of my feelings.
Coming out of my feelings. It's about the word.
I'm sure glad that God doesn't consult his feelings and decide when he's going to move based on how he feels. You operate by your feelings and your flesh instead of by your spirit. You're supposed to die to your flesh every day. You're supposed to die to your feelings every day. You think I feel like walking in here all the time and looking at you? You that have talked about us, you that have gossiped about us, you that have taken a paycheck and gotten on your Facebook and canceled us publicly. You think I feel like seeing you every day? No. The answer is no. But I know I'm called, so I do it anyhow.
Some of them just come. Some of us are called.
Look, if this makes you uncomfortable, guess what? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I love you, but I don't care if you're uncomfortable. Conviction is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be.
I think she's preaching.
Now
I thought I heard somebody shout.
Okay.
So they took this opportunity to, I guess, beat up on their congregation. I'm not really sure because I don't go to their church. You know what I mean? Because the clip was way longer. We kind of cut it down because they just kept going and going. But there's so many things in this video that I personally just have issues with. I do. I'm just like, whoa. And so I'm going to be quiet and you can just pick up on whatever you want to
No, I want to hear what you got.
Well, no, because number one, I feel like this should not be a service. This should not be a service. If there are things that are going on in your church that you need to address, you do not address that when it's live streaming and you have all these viewers and people like me can pick out the clip and now make you, famous for you cursing out your church. To me, that was offensive. I thought it was offensive. I thought it was unnecessary. And then for you to tell me that you're prophetically speaking lets me know that you're not prophetically speaking. Because you don't announce that. When God is using you, it's not an announcement. Hey, guys, I am in my anointment right now, so I'm going to go ahead and prophesy. That's not how it works. And I just think that this whole thing, and then Rod, is that his name? Rod Parsley? Him jumping in while she's even talking as if they're like a tag team beat up on everybody in the church.
Oh, they wasn't?
I'm just saying, like, I just thought it was out of place. I don't know how biblical any of that was, but I do know that if a pastor has an issue with his congregation or what have you, we can call a church meeting and we can talk about the things that are happening, but we don't need to press record and put that out for the world. That is my personal opinion. It's a lot of things I have an issue with because I actually watched a large portion of this. We just kind of, because I wanted to see the sermon because I was like, I need to know what else was happening, and then you're talking about politics, you're talking about all those things. It was just too much. It was too much. And I just figured, let me present this to those who are way smarter than me.
I mean, I think, what caught me, she calling cats reprobates.
Reprobate. That was another thing. Sorry,
I was
go
like,
ahead.
Wow. Like, okay. So you destined for eternal damnation. Like you're not even a part of the elect. You're not in the kingdom. So that's the part that first caught me like, ooh. Like, right. and so it's like, nah, it sounds like they're in their feelings. Now, it doesn't mean that there were some folks who got offended or was in their feelings because of their politics or whatever else. And they must have voiced their opinion or say, yo, I'm not going there no more. But it was obvious she was in her feelings, and she began to share, I don't want to see you. I don't care.
Right. And then she's like, do you think I like everyone that's coming into the church? But I do it anyway. And I'm like, what?
So that right there was, I mean, it really looked like a temper tantrum.
Publicly.
Being thrown on stage like that and the tag team temper tantrum of being disappointed, obviously being hurt by the congregation. It didn't display like, again, we speak the truth, we speak it in love. You know what I mean? Right. And it's not saying that he didn't legitimately have a reason to be hurt by whatever actions took place. But there's a way to go about doing that. I don't agree with the way they went about doing it.
What's good, PK? How you doing?
Hey.
What's up, RDub? I think I don't know who I want to go first, but
let the boomer go.
Go ahead, RDub. Go ahead. Oh, I didn't know that it was Hat Day. Sorry.
I'm gonna plow the way so you can come behind me.
That's what boomers do for Gen X.
That's what boomers do, man. Well, first off, I agree with Dr. L.A. Parsley and his daughter, was his daughter, they were in their feelings. Something happened, and I agree with you. I don't think that should have been aired like it was publicly. I think that's something you should have as a church business meeting or some sort. But my concern, reprobate, was, that was a deep one.
That was crazy.
It was. My concern, then we talk about political, and I don't know when this actually took place. Right. When they talked about it being political, that evangelical mode, when they talk vote, who they talking about voting for. Yep. But we ain't going to mention that today. But at the same time, so I think that as the pastor, you should not give license to your family nor your staff to reprimand the congregation. You have the assignment as the pastor. I don't think every staff member should go off on it. Every church has people in it that are not giving. Every church has people in it that are not doing, I mean, that could be something for every church to be preaching about every Sunday, and then give license to different people to say something. I think Pastor Parsley needs to reel in his daughter and say, hey, I understand you having issues, but you need to find another way to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, there was several things that I just kind of caught me off guard. I think one of the things about the prosperity gospel movement is the overemphasis on money, and I think this is what was bleeding through. Number one, you don't own these people. The fact that they might have left, you don't own these people. Like, yo, they left. The miracles are from Jesus. They ain't from like World Harvest Church, the church they go to, that he pastors. I don't know, but you don't own these people. They left, and they made a decision, probably based on the very public support of one presidential candidate or another. I'm not going there. But she said they said you need to die to your feelings. And she's ranting and raving in her feelings on stage. I'm like, huh?
And then he took a preaching point from that. Somebody turned to your neighbor. Now, let me tell you something, Rod. You became popular from these brown skin. You mimic what our preachers and pastors do. You hoop and you holler and all of that stuff. And now we got an issue. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll end with this. Rob Parsley's worth $12 million. I don't feel sorry. That's it. That's all I have to say. I don't feel sorry.
Okay.
Well, so you're trying to say that the money is drying up? Is that what you're trying to say?
The money drying up. That's prosperity gospel. The money dried up, and they got angry because folks left because of a stance on a particular thing.
If you came here and I gave you healing, and I gave you miracles. Like, don't you owe me a couple of hours? Don't you owe me a couple of hours?
My goodness. So, and because I never know how it's going to go, guys. I'm not sure who is going to do the pop-off. This time, Dr. L.A. leads. Dr. L.A. is going to lead. So listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, guys, it's going to be my favorite segment. We are going to be right in this corner. I get to give you guys, I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen when we come back. All right, peace.
Are you weary in well-doing? Then you need some fuel. My name is Pastor Paul James, and I'd like to invite you to the 2024 Fuel Conference. This year's conference happens on a Saturday morning on November 16th from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30. It'll be at Ezekiel Baptist Church at 5701 Grays Avenue in Philadelphia. And this year we're going to do something a little bit different. Rather than having lectures or sermons, we're going to have a series of TED Talk style charges that are designed to take you closer to this year's theme, which is encountering God. That is, we're going to devote time to prayer rather than just speaking. In these difficult times that are divisive, it is so very important that we learn to encounter God. So to Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, and the greater Delaware Valley, let's come together to fuel up so that we can encounter God together.
Okay, guys, I have two of my favorite people. This is my favorite segment.
In this corner.
In this corner.
Has the online church hurt or helped the local in-person church?
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. What you got?
I think to a degree that it has helped the local in-person church in several ways. I think that it has. Number one, I think it has helped in identifying who is really here, who is really committed to being a part of the local assembly. All right. And I think it has helped also in getting the word out consistently and intentionally, because a lot of churches probably were not live streaming. That kind of helped, and even got other people in the local assembly involved in that area of maybe a media ministry. I think it has helped in that. It stirred up the gift for some to engage. It stirred up that gift, and got them in there. I think to that degree, it probably has helped to identify who's here, and also has helped in the ministry beyond our local area.
I like those points that you pointed out, though. I really do. But I think the online church can be a blessing to the community, like you were saying, to the larger community. But I believe it has, to a greater extent, decimated the local church. You know, we have faithful, or what once were faithful church members, who are substituting in-person attendance for online observation, right? And they're doing it based on Barna stats. You know, I'm a Barna guy.
Yes, you are.
I'm a Pew Research guy. So they're doing it, you know, at least once a month. They're substituting intentionally their in-person attendance for online watching, right? And so if they came 3 times a month, now they come in 2 times and watching 1 time, you know. So in that regard, it has made, I think, you know, many folks think that watching church versus being at church is okay. Like, as long as I tune in, as long as I give online, then I'm doing my duty as a church member to my church. And so, you know, I think, unfortunately, you know, being online, like we just seen in the pew, being online makes the service almost a quote unquote show, right? And I think, you know, you have some that feel forced to entertain and produce something that's compatible to the other things that people watch as if it was a show. You know, I know for me personally, I know it's a necessary, I don't want to call it a necessary evil. It's the new world that we live in. So it's a necessary component online to what we do. But I do miss the intimacy of being able to just talk to my congregation and know what I'm saying to them. If it goes beyond those doors, is because they've been discipled and they're taking it beyond, not because somebody's peeking in and catching a clip the way we just did in the pew of part of something, and then, you know, taking that. And so I think for the larger world, it's a evangelism piece and all of that. I think for the intimacy of the church, I think something was lost in that. And I think the idea of being a church and what that means kind of got lost when you started watching church.
I can understand that. I appreciate that. But I think in the area of it helping, it probably, in most cases, I know for us, it helped us to intentionally sharpen some areas in terms of, you know, what's been too much, what are some things that we're saying that we shouldn't say, you know, cleaning up some things. I think in that degree is a level of excellence, and certain things you can do better, and this helps from what my perspective is. And it also says, okay, what information we will put out there intentionally, but if you're not here, you don't get this other piece. That's the piece that you sit back and you have to weigh out. And so, like our service, and I know a number of the churches, they go up until the preaching hour is over. But the other stuff you got to be there to get, like your face-to-face communion, like your pastoral remarks. You get that after the service, but you don't get that with the visual online. I think we have to got to understand where we are, but then if we say, hey, focus on it taken away and just flip the script, what is it doing to help us sharpening our skill set, sharpening, engaging other people? And then at a bold conference I was at, Accelerate, this one guy said, you can't do church the same as you did before. And this allows you to do it differently and put a different spin on it.
Don't be trying to quote me against me. You know what? Whatever. No, the reality. No, the reality though, man, is, you know, the post-COVID, you know how many churches done shut down? You know, I mean, so many churches have closed because folks have, they exited the building and they never came back.
Never came back.
they left, and many have left the physical church, and again they've joined this online church of just watching many sermons of many people, and have and recognize that I don't have to go in there. I don't have to get up. I ain't got to leave. I ain't got that accountability. I ain't got to worry about a seat. I ain't got to worry about you being in my business. I ain't got to worry about all the things that makes us who we are. And being in business is accountability. It's iron sharpens iron. Like all those things is contributing. It's service. You know, you had churches that was begging somebody now to serve because, hey, if I could just watch, I ain't got to come. I ain't got to do it. Like, yeah, it's more than you attending on a Sunday or you putting money in an actual plate. It was you being a part of a community that has now kind of been a diaspora. You've kind of been displaced all over the place. You know what I mean? Because of this online opportunity. And so I think is beneficial to the kingdom of God in certain ways because it's going further. But there are so many churches that are struggling and been wrestling with, do we keep it going or do we shut it off to try to get people to come back? And I done said a million times, you're not getting them to come back because this has become a preferred way of people, receiving what they want to receive. We went so far with the consumerism of we want to have everything that we can to make you feel as great as you can, that we created consumers. And then when you created another platform for them to consume, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna take that. And so I think, we have to, recalibrate how to make disciples digitally, how to get people to do ministry beyond, our normal, confines of physical presence, so it's a challenge.
And I see that, but I want to take another drastic twist on this and helping.
I wouldn't expect nothing less.
I know you wouldn't. You know how if you go through the book of Acts and the people were comfortable.
I've been through there.
Coming to church and everything. Thank you. I know you're a professor and you're a Bible man. But Acts and, the way to get the gospel out, he had to send persecution. And that's how the gospel went out and church started further. So this way we can look at it also as a help. It's helping if we can kind of disciple, as you say, our members, and then those that want to not come on the regular, we said we're going to help you so that when you go to Cancun and you go on your vacation,
always talking about folks going on vacation.
So we're going to send you out to evangelize and disciple as you go, because this is a helpful tool to get the gospel out. It's just not through persecution. It's through the excuse of COVID, because
once again, I think you're taking the question and you're stretching it.
I did.
The question is really about, has the online church hurt or helped the local in-person church? So, but I'm saying you keep talking about the benefits to the kingdom. There's no argument there that our online presence is a benefit to the kingdom at large. There is no argument with that whatsoever. That's not the question. All I'm saying, the question is, has it hurt or helped the local in-person church? Is what the question is. And
so take your professor hat off, and I'm just saying, let's just extrapolate a little bit beyond what you see.
Forget the question. You said
local in-person church. You're right. I'm saying I think it does help. And if you want to stick to the letter of the law, the local in-person church, I believe it has helped tweaking areas of excellence and things of that nature. That's what I'm thinking. And at the same time, it did a little weeding out as well, because those, even though they were there physically, they weren't there. All right. And so I think that the ones that have disappeared, it just showed where they were. And it's not to not love them. And I think when the Lord presents opportunities, we can still love them, and we still should, but understand that if they're not going to be there, I think it has helped to some degree the church to start doing things better this way. Wake up, man.
They might not, but some preachers still are.
I know. See, and that helps me. I'm saying I gotta cut this hour sermon down to 30.
That's what I'm saying. As well as your response. Ding ding. Where is our producer?
Now, last time I came in and cut y'all off, y'all was like, "Oh, I cut y'all off. Now you looking for me?" Okay, all right, I like it. Come on, let me go ahead and bring in. Let me bring in PK.
I think she's backhanding us.
Yeah, she is. Absolutely.
Because
she always want to jump in the ring. It's so funny. You know
it's not that I want to jump in the ring. I'm just saying. Okay, go ahead, PK. Go ahead, PK. What you got to say about this?
No, I mean, I think, of course, it's both. It has helped in the long term with respect to those who are sick and shut in. Of course, I mean, that has to be a part of the equation. The international, well, we're talking about the local church, but yeah, it's helped with that. But I have seen it hurt with regards to biblical community. The folks who will willingly click on a link, and when they have the ability to come into the fellowship to engage in biblical community and choose not to, because they want a good word, they want the worship, they want to see it. It becomes entertainment, and that's not across the board. But I do think, man, it has harmed the whole understanding of what it means to be a part of a Bible or biblical community. The taking of the Lord's Supper, the witnessing of people being baptized, people coming to know Christ, people learning, worshiping together, experiencing all that the body life has and offers. You can observe it, but it's a different thing to experience it and grow as a result of that. There are a lot of, it's not all, but there are some folks who never plan to step into a church building ever again because they can click on a link on Sunday.
That's right.
And they feel fine with it. They feel fine with it too.
I agree.
That's the thing about it. And I'm gonna say this, and here I threw a question out, church Pat, and I said, when the last time y'all had somebody from church over your house?
Wow.
And it was frozen, like no hand went up. You know what I mean? To remember when they had somebody, and I had just had some of the fellas over the house. We was hanging out, but there was like none. So the community aspect is not just I'm not coming in, but I'm not even having nobody at my house no more. Like we're not doing life on life anymore.
One another.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's like, if we're going to do something, I'll see you at that Zoom meeting. Right. Because our meetings are Zoom, you know what I mean? Right. Small group of Zoom. So the idea that we're going to actually be in person, one another, like, that's not even life on life is not even happening.
Yeah. Well, listen, this was a good topic, and we're just we might as well just go on and hop into
Men of Issachar.
This is a good question for you guys today. How should the church handle benevolent requests? I know how they used to handle it back in the day. And I know RDub is going to talk about membership, consistency of membership, tithes, offering. I already know what RDub is going to say. So I want to hear what y'all got to say. Let me excuse myself.
When you live in a city as poor as Philadelphia, 24% poverty rate, you're going to get benevolent requests. You're going to get them at a specific clip. I mean, it's going to be there. And so, so how should we deal with them? Did you have something there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think gracefully, there need to be a level of consistency. So I think a policy in place that maps out like the type of requests that we may be willing to meet or to grant. I think the criteria of the individual, she was joking about that, but I think that's important. You know what I mean? If it's the criteria of a member and saying, hey, here's a member in good standing that's dealing with something, what does that what does that mean? Defining good standing, or if you have benevolent for a non-member, what if somebody walked in off the street and had an issue? So I think it got to be criteria, kind of to deal with, what are you willing to support and who, and is there criteria needed for who you're going to support?
Yeah, no, I think I think that whole policy is probably one of the most important life-saving things I know that have saved Great Commission from from some stuff. Having a consistent policy, I think doing it in communities like I think the whole model of when Acts 6:1, when the widows elected, I mean that's a benevolent issue. There was hunger, there was food as an issue was there, and they did it. They decided it not in a silo alone, but together with others to get different perspectives on how to handle that. And so it's like the church can't shy away from addressing felt needs or physical needs that show up in the community. Jesus dealt with hunger, thirst, cripple, someone handicapped, blind, demon possessed. I mean, he deals with the gamut, and you see throughout his ministry, he is doing benevolent deeds. So it's Bible, but it's just like, you mentioned, like Paul says in Galatians 6, do good to all, especially those who are a household of faith. So there's a difference in the level of
absolutely. Outside and inside. Absolutely.
Outside and inside. And it's I mean, I guess one of the follow-up questions is, when do you say no?
Well, I think that's where, like, I think there has to be, if you're running, with a level of financial efficiency, there has to be like a cap dollar amount, right? I think how much is available to distribute, like within a calendar year. Like, here's a budget in that benevolent fund. You have $5,000, let's say, for example, that can go towards that.
Yeah.
And so, you only can space that out, and what you got to give to whatever, you know what I mean? And because of, there's normally, where you have all of these requests, is probably going to be in a place where the church is limited on their financial resources to meet all those requests. They kind of got to go hand in hand, right? And so I think because of that, the church need to do its due diligence in determining the legitimacy of the need. We know for a fact many will try to play you. Many will try to use you and abuse you and take whatever they can take from you, right? And so, because they always think that, especially the church, it has more than what it actually has. There's assumption that the church really has a plethora of resources, right? And so I think that, just finding out if the need is legitimate, finding out and having connections to say, is there someone else who could actually meet that need is important as well. You know what I mean? Because every need you can't make, but having a resource center or reference or whatever that, hey, we can't do nothing about this, but
we got somebody.
Yeah, here's somebody who may be able to.
Yeah. And I think it's important to dispel the myth that a lot of folks run with, that the church has not and does not meet benevolent issues of hunger, of poverty, and be surprised. There's this common knowledge that we're just sitting on a bag of money, hiding it. And I want folks to know that's not the case.
Really? I'm not aware of that.
That's not the case, that somehow the church is stingy and somehow the church doesn't meet needs. What I've seen in the city of Philadelphia, and it's been written about and researched by secular organizations and think tanks, is that one of the most impactful entities in the city of Philadelphia has been the church. And if you were to remove the church from out of these communities, out of these neighborhoods, Philadelphia would be in horrible shape. I can only speak Philadelphia. I mean, but I think that's replete across. You can look at most cities and see that churches are more times than not willing to address these benevolent requests and to meet people where they're at and to help the hunger, those who are hungry, those who are thirsty, those who are struggling. And so I just wanted to put that out there because I think that's important to say.
I think, we don't publicize it, because why would you, it's not a photo op.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not too embarrassed. So when somebody is in that kind of position, it ain't something that they want broadcasted, nor that we broadcast.
Exactly.
So you got to trust that your giving is being stewarded well. I think that's important to know. But I think, this idea that you sitting on something is not accurate. We're never in the business to, I don't remember us not being, in the red, we're never in the business to make money. You're in the business to give it all away. But I think, when it comes to, you made the question, when do you say no? That kind of stuck in my mind. And I think, it goes back to stewarding. Like we know we got hardworking people who are giving.
Exactly.
And we serve locally. We give through cooperative program. We serve nationally and internationally. What we do with our finance, like we support so many in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
I think, and you tight as a tiger. So
easy there.
No, you're very frugal. No, you're very frugal. But I think the idea that recognizing that this is God's money that came from God's people. You gotta, that's where the discernment comes in, that I'm not giving you money to go buy drugs. I'm not giving you money to go do something abusive. So I'm asking you questions about who you are, where you are, what you need. And us, we don't do money. We'll go shopping before we give you the money and trust that you're gonna go shopping. But the reason is we're stewarding what folks gave us. You know what I mean? And so part of it is like, we gotta be wise, and we want to trust you, but more importantly, we're being trusted to do right by them with these finances.
Absolutely.
And so therefore we gotta take it down to the very lowest compound. See how it sounds?
Yeah,
a little irrational.
The next line.
A lot of MCs like to use the word dramatical, but fresh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you knew that was coming.
I knew it was coming. Oh my gosh! I said, is he going to stop or is he going to keep going? He kept going. All right, let me bring in RDub. Come on, RDub.
Hey.
What you got to say?
That was good. When it comes to meeting benevolent need in churches, as you said, Dr. Canty has been doing it, and they've been doing it. Don't get the credit, but they've been doing it. Some cases we have gone overboard in benevolence. You got people from the community that's not a part of the church, but a part of the community. Then you have people from the church community. And then you even have the slick ones that go from church to church to get what they can.
Absolutely.
And so what I like the idea, you got to have a strategy and a procedure policy that your church follows, because you do have hardworking people giving their tithes and offerings, and they're expecting, good stewardship of that. And the way I recommend to people, and some people laugh at it, if it's for non-church people, church persons, if it's food, you give them a gift card to the grocery store. You don't give them cash, you give them a gift card. If it's an issue for non-church person about their utilities, you say, okay, let's talk to utility. You got to go through a financial management class. We'll talk to your financial people, talk to your electric, your renter and all that, to say, hey, if they complete this class, we'll give them X amount, and let them know we're not paying the whole thing. We'll pay a portion. So we want you to be working and bring in your money, so that when it's time to pay, we'll put ours with yours, and then it helps. I say to the members of CFF, and I said it at Concord, we'll give you up to 10% of what you have been given.
And did not tell y'all I was right. I was waiting for it to come. Come on, RDub. I need to hear it. Go ahead.
Because believers need to understand that your church is not a savings and loan. It's not holding the money for you. But you want to help them understand, just as you tithe to the kingdom, we tithe to you. Okay, you gave $600 all year. The maximum we can help you out with is $60. You gave $6,000. Maximum is $600, because you don't want to be giving you back what you gave. Then that's you gotta say it fits within these parameters. You don't spend the money on a trip and then beg the church to help you with your mortgage.
Yo, I be wanting to turn my camera off so bad. I be wanting to just turn my camera off, right? You know, because when I'm in a Zoom meeting and somebody say something that I don't want,
your camera
that
off.
I don't want my face to be seen when they say it.
You can't do that live though.
Yeah, I be wanting to turn my camera off, like, oh.
And I didn't know he was going to keep going because at first I was like, okay, good. But then he's like, yeah, like you give your little $50. Yeah, you give your little $50. You only getting $5. The people gonna be sitting in the dark.
Yeah,
the people with the babies, they not gonna have,
Yeah.
Let me just go to my new favorite segment because I can't with him. Listen, is this a good time to say, hey guys, if you want to partner with us, here's the $sign, the Athens Avenue. I'm not even sure I need to be, but anyhow.
I've revealed some things and shared some things in us and really some blind spots that we have when it comes to covering our life and ministry. It's easy to say during your first ministry, it's a whole lot harder to actually do and function in that space. I don't think you can lead a healthy church if you don't have a healthy marriage and a healthy home. What you have is some heartfelt words and stories and transparency that I hope you can appreciate and benefit from and share with others. It starts with us being transparent, revealing where we are and where we come up short, and working on that together so that we can be a better blessing to the church.
I'm just so proud of the young people, and I know you have a sense of pride too, because your son is in the show. This is awesome. But like this topic is really, their topics are just really good. So this is our new segment, guys. We got next. We'll be back. It's my favorite segment, guys. You already know what it is a We Got Next. So without further ado, I'm just going to bring my peeps up. I'm going to say Darius, coming to the stage.
Hey, I'm first today.
How you doing today?
I'm all right. How you?
You know what? It's better to be seen than viewed, okay? So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm glad to be seen.
I never heard that, but I like that.
You like that? Yeah. I stole that. I stole that. And the person that says it knows who I stole it from. So thank you. All right, I'm gonna bring up none other than Janae. What's good, Janae?
Hey, yo, I like that too.
Huh?
I like that too. She said, "What are these things? I like to be seen, not viewed." Is that what you said?
Yes, it's good to be seen and not viewed. You're welcome. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome. If I don't put it on first, we got to see now who's gonna make the shirt first. Okay. And last but never least, we're gonna go ahead and bring up our girl Alex from the block. What's good, Allie?
Yo, yiggity, yo, what's up? Hey guys.
Yo.
Yiggity, yo.
Yiggity, yo.
I don't know if you're still a millennial with that. Oh no, but hey girl.
Telling my age. No, I'm kidding.
How you doing today, Alex? How you doing?
I'm good. I am here and I'm happy.
You know what? Let me spend a little bit more time with y'all because they don't really know everybody. Janae, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, so my name is Janae. I'm from Miami, born and raised. I'm currently in Jacksonville. I am a book publisher and a professor. I teach public speaking. Communication studies is my jam. I am the oldest. I am a daddy's girl. I am a mama's baby. I'm a millennial. I'm a geriatric millennial that don't always agree with millennial thoughts, but I understand what they.
I saw that last week.
Bless your heart, amen. But yeah, and I love Jesus, and so thanks for having me.
Darius, tell me a little bit about yourself. Come on, let the people know what's going on.
I don't like to talk about myself much.
I know you don't. That's why I put you on the spot. Go ahead, just a little bit.
Darius, I got a lot to me, but I don't say much. I love music. I make music. I write music. I love music of all genres. I play basketball. I'm from Philly, just moved to NC. So I'm living this North Carolina life right now, trying to, get some stuff started, see a different way of life. And I'm not technically a millennial.
Oh, so did you sneak in?
I heard the people wanted to hear from me, but I'm 25, so I'm technically, a Gen Zer.
Oh,
I'll allow it.
This is good. How do you encourage someone in an unequally yoked relationship without encouraging them to leave or walk out?
So transparency here. I am married and my husband is Muslim. So I feel this one deeply. And by no means has anyone ever encouraged me or told me to walk out of my relationship. And I just thank the people that I'm around for that, right? Because I don't necessarily know if that's the kind of encouragement that comes from everyone who's traditionally thought focused, traditionally based. But it was a hard sell. It's hard. I know that having conversations with some people in my church, or just Christians in general, I won't even say in my church because that's not even really the case. But just having conversations with some Christians, it can be hard for them to simply just say like, well, you sure you want to stay? So I don't. That's just my transparency. I know that I've had that conversation before, and I've gotten both sides of the coin, right? I've heard are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you going to stay there considering that it is something that's unequally yoked, or getting the encouragement of keep praying, God works wonders. Nothing's too impossible for God. So, nothing's impossible.
Not to make it all about you, but if I could ask, like, how much pressure did you feel from, you just yourself wanting a certain thing versus you knowing everybody else, might have something to say, or the people, kind of saying something to you about it being that way?
A lot. I mean, I grew up in a church. My dad was in the process of getting ready to be ordained before a couple of things happened. My dad passed. I've been in the church all my life. So there was that immediate pressure of, oh my gosh, everybody's going to have something to say. I remember one time Anderson saying before, like, God knows your heart, and that's not always a good thing because the heart can be deceitful. So it was like one of those, like, I guess you could say I followed my heart, and that was how we ended up here. But it was a lot of pressure. But again, I thank the people around me for not turning that pressure into condemning me, right? Immediately giving me the whole, you're not going to make it and you're going to go to hell. And are you sure you're disrespecting God and all of that? So who knows if I had that, would I be in the same space that I'm in now? That's a great question too.
I think it's a beautiful thing when you can love people the way Jesus loved them, even if they're not Christian. And I think that we as Christians sometimes move like it's a clique, or move like it's a sorority, or move like it's a fraternity when it's not. And I understand the recommendation of the Bible of marrying someone who is equally yoked, but you could be Christian and marry another Christian and still not be equally yoked. And I don't think that people expound on what that truly means. Like a person who doesn't have the same values as you could be another Christian individual. A person who doesn't believe in how you raising your children, or believe in education, or believe in how you are managing your money, or like values are not cross the board because we're all Christian. So I think to try to encourage a person to leave their marriage and not try to teach a person on how to have a biblical marriage, regardless of if your person knows Bible, is crazy. And it's also a way that you can lose a person who could come into Christ by being married to you. That could be your ministry, right?
Personally, again, this is my personal experience, right? It's my walk has never changed, right? In the same breath. Just because I know we're unequally yoked, my walk has never changed. My faith has never wavered. I have never once thought like, oh, is this? No, like I've been standing 10 toes down for a long time, and I will stand 10 toes down all the time. But I think with that, like you said, I'm planting seeds, I'm watering said seeds, and God is giving the increase. So that is my goal, that's my hope, that's my prayer, and that's how I feel like the encouragement that I've been getting from people, right? The right kind of Christian who's telling me, yes, you're not equally yoked, but that's what prayer is for. That's what God does, amazing things in his own amazing way. So like you said, to just simply write someone off like, yes, we not the same, but God does amazing things and things change all the time. Like that's where my hope is. And I know that the encouragement that I've been given has been in the hope of God and doing his amazing things. And I think the conversation is different from marriage versus a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, right? Boyfriend-girlfriend is like, all right, keep your options open. You're not tied to anything yet. But in marriage, it's like, okay, you can't just walk out, because we got married in front of man and God, his God, my God, our gods. We were married in front of our God. So our marriage is sacred, and we need to continue to keep that sacred. So it's not like you can just up and, oh, I'm out of here. That's just not a thing no more. It just turns into prayer and encouragement on how to keep a good and happy marriage.
To your point, they marry now. You understand what I'm saying? And I think like part of the issue that I think married people, that people have, millennials have in general, is that we got to quit quitting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think like when it comes to marriage, you need to let things play out. You need to like work towards letting this play out and letting this unfold, giving God time to do whatever he is going to do, and be very clear about what his will is and not what your will is. So yeah, I really just believe like pointing people to the cross. Well, the question of how do you encourage someone in an unequally yoked marriage, it's pointing them to the cross does not necessarily mean that you're pointing them into divorce, right? Mm-hmm. It's to love your husband and letting your husband get so enamored by how you love him that he's like, how can she love me like this? What do you got that I don't have that's making it so seamless for you to love? And when you say Jesus, well, who is that? You know what I mean? Like, I point them to the cross. Talking them to the cross.
The encouragement literally is keeping your eyes fixed on the cross. Like that's the encouragement, encouraging them to, you got, and then unfortunately you gotta live in it. Like that's what you win. That's what you win.
And then so everything isn't. And I'm not in your marriage, girl, but everything isn't. Every issue that you have is not going to be because your husband is Muslim and you are Christian. You know what I mean? Like there is just issues that happen in marriage because we're just two different people trying to become one. And I'm not married, but I can only imagine that process of becoming one ain't for the weak. And that doesn't become less for the weak when you become Christian. You know what I mean? Like that is, so everything isn't even about him being Muslim or about your partner, to like the listeners, not being equally yoked. It's just the process of becoming one is not for the weak. And you gonna need to be pointed to the cross.
You got to point that cross whether y'all both Christian or not. Prayer is needed, okay? A lot of people, especially in the church, a lot of like women that I've reached out to and I've asked questions, asked advice on, that's their main thing. The only reason we've been married thus long is only the prayer and the Lord, honey. I mean, yeah, he's nice and all, but the Lord is holding us together. So it's the same thing. Like each marriage, like you say, each marriage is a work. It's not for the weak. Like y'all both have to want to do it. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether y'all don't believe in anything, y'all both got to want to do it. It's a little easier because Christ is in it for me, because Christ is in it. I can always turn to Christ and throw my prayers out there. So that, it's just, you got to pray whether you got to pray regardless, married or not, you just got to pray because that's the only way you're going to get through it, pretty much.
Okay, we got next is coming for your neck. So we're going to see you guys next week for my favorite segment. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Peace. What a deep topic. And shout out to Allie B, Alex, Allie B. You never know what name she going by today, for really being transparent in this particular episode. So talk to me about how you felt, Dr. L.A.
Well, I definitely appreciate Allie B and her experience. I do want to add correction. It's not really a recommendation from the Bible. It's God's will and God's way. that, unequally yoked is not biblical, right? It's about both being believers, Amos 3:3 talks about, unless, two walk together, and have agreed to do so, how can they do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the Bible doesn't call you to divorce your mate if they are not a believer, because you can possibly win them, right? And so it does advise you but it does advise you not to go into a marriage with an unbeliever. It does advise you to do that, right?
Right.
And so I think is critical that we understand that. Now, again, you remain in that position that you was when you got saved or whatever. We had an opportunity to love on Ali B in our process, and you know what I mean, and to show love to her Muslim now husband, children, father. You know what I mean, and we will continue to do so. You know what I mean? So our job is not to ostracize or to hate or to beat up or anything else. Is to have, you fall in love with who you fall in love with, and our job is to help her grow. I would love, I pray for her, I pray for her children, I pray for her husband, but the same way I pray for my daughter, you know what I mean? And I pray, my wife and I, we pray every day that our children, we got 3 of them, and none of them are married, but they were all, marry godly spouse, that they would have godly friends. We pray for that because it's easier to walk a godly life when you have godly mate and godly friends. When you don't, you're constantly battling other influences and other ideologies, other idols, and even in this situation, other understandings of who God is and what his desire is. You know what I mean? So that's tough, to do. And so it's tough for somebody, mature, and been saved forever to do. It definitely is tough for somebody, young in their faith to do.
What say ye, sirs?
You guys were talking about that particular situation. I thought about the body and how important it is for the body to do what it can for each other. Like we're part of this thing. And I thought about the metaphor of the body. Like if there's danger, the body's going to try to avoid it. It's going to do everything in order to survive. But inevitably, when the body gets harmed or hurts or infected, it tries to heal itself. And I think, with the situation we were just talking about with Love Her to Death, that we are about healing the parts. Like it's going to be tough in that situation, that marriage, but we want to be a part of the whole, the body making itself whole. Like we try to, like, we never want someone to walk into a situation that's going to be harmful, it's going to hurt, it's going to be really outside of God's will, as our brother said. But when that does happen, we have a responsibility to heal itself, to heal the members that hurt. And so I just think that that's important, that we do that. We remember why we're here. Like that's real church.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so far from just Sunday morning. It's about relationships. It's about, we give the warning, but sometimes folks
don't heed the warning.
What happened? They don't heed
how many warnings did we not heed during the course of our life? It is
exactly
what it is,
Right.
Yep.
And that's like valuable lesson, because loving on people is major in marital decisions that they made, and helping them to love through it and understanding. It's difficult for 2 born again people in a marriage.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. You just add a whole nother dynamic.
Absolutely.
You're right. You're so right.
Hey, Dr. Anderson.
Wow. Real formal there, huh? That's what we do.
I was trying to do something different, because every time I say, "Hey, Dr. Ellie," you're like, "Huh." So I was trying to change it up a little bit.
Okay.
Shameeka Browne, wife and mother of 5, was elected as an Abington Township School Board Director in 2019 and currently serves as the board president. Can I just shout out Shameeka real quick? She has a passion for teaching, learning, and fighting for equity in education. She has been a middle school math teacher for over 15 years and currently holds positions as math specialist and math content lead at Bala Kenwood Middle School. She is a faithful member of Christian Stronghold Church, and that is so true, serving as a youth worker and ministry leader of women's discipleship for ages 18 to 24. She is the recipient of various education and community service awards, and her favorite scripture is Philippians 4:13. She can do all things through Christ, which definitely strengthens her. That has been an anchor for her in her entire childhood. So, without further ado, I would like to present to some and introduce to others my sister, not biologically, but like my sister, Shameeka Browne.
All right. So welcome to the spot that you are on, where we like to feature those who are believers who are out and making a difference in the actual world where you are. So tell me, how did you develop this amazing love for children? That's what I want to know.
Listen, when God called you to it, you can try to run if you want to. They will find you. Even when I'm on maternity leave, my babies find me. They found me on Facebook. They're like, Ms. Brown, when are you coming back? But no, I love young people. I do. I have a passion for them. I find value in listening to them and using their voices to make whatever happen that needs to make happen inside the schools. So I run a club that was based on student voice. They said, Ms. Brown, we need to see some changes here. So taking their voices, making positive action happen. I love young people.
In today's age, there's so many stigmas, negative stereotypes about teachers who don't care anymore about students. Why is there such a negative stereotype based on what you've actually seen or experienced? Or is it justified? I don't know.
I don't like justifying giving up on kids. But what I can tell you is that teachers are stressed out, lack of resources, blame being put on teachers without backing them up, without giving them the things that they need to be successful. Kids coming in with their trauma, teachers coming in with their trauma and trauma hitting trauma, and trying to make sense of how do I teach students who may be lacking a skill, or do I truly believe that they are capable of learning? Start there. Because if you're in front of young people and you don't believe they're capable of learning, it's time for you to switch careers. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Even with a teacher shortage, you are not doing any good if you don't think that the students in front of you have genius inside of them that you are able to cultivate and bring out. Point blank, period. But if you are willing to learn, then take some courses, read some books. Don't rely on a school district to give you that professional development that you need. Go out and get what it is that you need and bring it in. And that requires a discipline. That requires not just a love for teaching, but a love for people and a love for kids. And it's my love for people and kids and teachers that makes me want to be a lifelong learner so that I can actually help when I enter into those walls of the school.
How do you try to help them, love on them, but yet, try to keep that separation between professional and kid? Like, how does that work?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not your best friend. And my kids know that. They know that I'll do things with them and not for them. When I go with you, when I do this problem with you, that means you're learning and you take ownership over it. When I tell you that, baby, I'm going to hold you accountable for excellence, but I'm going to help you get there. And I'm not going to allow you to use excuses to say why you can't. They respect that. And they can recognize authenticity from a mile away. So they know when I come to them, I come to them with the real, and I will look at them like, you tried it, but we're not doing that. Or you know what, you're having a bad day, and I get that. And guess what? You're sick, and I get that. So guess what we do when we're sick? We work slower. We don't get out of the work. We work slower. And that does that mean you might need a mental break every now and then? Yeah, you're human. I acknowledge that. But we're not going to have mental breaks all day, every day for 180 days of school. We're not doing that. So I help them to know that my goal is to work with you, not for you, not to you, not neglect you, but with you. And I show them what that means through actions and words. And sometimes it don't feel good. I tell them, oh, that stretching didn't feel good, did it? But guess what? I'm your coach. So you ready for more? Let's get it.
Now, in that teaching role, how does that type of love, discipline, professionalism, how is that passed off to the other teachers? Is it passed off? Do you see you as a unicorn amongst others? Like how does that work within the school?
For some teachers, it's easy. They're like, Shameeka, can you help me? For others, it's like, I got to show you better than I can tell you. So I have the opportunity of walking into classrooms. I can walk into any math classroom that I want based on data. If there's a kid who needs me to walk in there, push in to provide support, I have a right to be in there. So when I say I can show you better than I can tell you, it may be that student that you had low expectations for, they're now working for me. They're now producing work. They're now not leaving the classroom as much because they know that they are valued and I expect something from them. That your presence in this room makes a difference. And when you are absent, I feel your absence, right? So they're more prone to stay in the room. And when they look at that, they're like, oh, wait, that student just finished the problem and raised their hand to give an answer. What is different? And that's what we're called to as Christians, right? My job is not to go in and to Bible beat you. My job is to allow Christ's love to show through me so much that you ask yourself, what is different about Shameeka? Let me lean in. Let me ask her a few things, right? And that's the I can show you better than I can tell you model.
The school board, what made you take on that additional responsibility to run to be president of the school board, and what does that entail, that position itself?
Yeah. So the decision was not an easy one. And with my husband, we discussed it, and he was like, you know what? I don't think we need to take on anything else that's new. And I prayed about it, and I asked my first lady to pray with me because I'm not used to having to like negotiate what I want to do or submit. I'm used to submitting, but I'm like, oh, he told me no. Like when I prayed on it. And my husband and I were watching the school board meeting online. At that point, they were interviewing a candidate to take a position of someone who left. And when he looked at the board, he saw no one that looked like me. And he turned around and he said, Shameeka, it's time. What I do is work with the superintendent to make sure that the agendas are set up, that it represents what we need to talk about. I make sure that the board meetings are ran in a way that brings dignity to the school district. As a board member, not necessarily as board president, we are responsible for making sure that the policy represents a student-centered mindset, that we make sure that we spend money, that we manage our budget in a responsible manner, and that the curriculum that we pass lines up with what our students have to face 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And the scary thing about that is we don't know what jobs are going to be here 5, 15, 20 years from now. So we have to make sure that we continue to expose them to the things that are going to help them think critically and also experience new technologies. And that's something that I'm proud to say that our district is doing.
Okay.
I mean,
in a culture of bullying and cyber bullying and all that goes on through social media, do you have anything to do with that? Any say in that? Any effect on that kind of behavior coming into the buildings?
Yeah. So when you talk to school board members, you're talking more so about policy. Policy gives permission for the administrators, for the teachers, for the staff to be able to carry out what they need to carry out. So when you talk about bullying and things of that nature, we want to make sure that we have policy that says if there's an infraction with a student, what are the things that the school has the ability to do? And within the last year, what we did was tidy up our what do you do if? And we made sure that there were restorative practices in there so that we're not just punishing kids without fixing the problem.
That sounds like another full-time job. Tell me.
I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, how you balancing all that you're doing along with being a wife and a mother of 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not a balance. Sometimes it's like, oop, I dropped the ball. And I think we need to be real about that. I'm not even going to use the word balance. I'm going to say that sometimes I manage it well and sometimes I don't. And the times that I do manage it well is when I have village that steps in to help fill in the gap. Sometimes when I do manage as well is when I have my checklist. Like when my kids walk in the door, there's a checklist. Right now it says, welcome back home. Cooper, you got the kitchen, the bathroom, the trash, and walk Oreo at night. Underneath that, Quincy, you got the family room. Like there's a list of things so that everybody knows where we're at. Incorporating family meetings so that we don't, if we're intentional about sitting down and praying for one another and saying, what's your prayer request? What's something that you're proud of this week? If I'm intentional about creating that space for me, my husband, and my kids, then I'm less likely to miss the big things.
Was there somebody who inspired you to be you?
Yeah, I have some amazing women in my life. I have to shout out my mom, my warrior mother. She is a African-American martial artist, black level in Vita Sana martial arts. She specializes in weapons and self-defense. Did I mention that she's 64 and she's still doing these things to this day? Throughout life, I've seen her doing the things that brought her joy, also still mom. So I didn't have to try to figure out, how do I still fulfill myself and still be a mom? No, bring them with you. You know, when I go to community events, bring them kids with you. And then I just had some other amazing women leaders in my life. My first principal, she had 3 sons. She was killing the game. She was an amazing, amazing principal at that time. And I looked at her background, and I said, why can't I do what she's doing?
All right, my last question, and it's totally off of anything.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on Abbott Elementary?
I love it. Now, I don't get a chance to watch a lot of TV.
Okay.
The sister is busy.
I hear you.
But I did watch the first season, and if I was able to catch up on a show, Abbott Elementary would be that show.
Well, you know, since we had the school board president on, I felt I might as well wear my, Central High stuff, to represent.
Okay, well, shout out to Girls High.
Shout out to Girls High. Let's get it. 245.
Girls High.
244. Just thought I'd put it out there since
Anyway, I just wanted to make sure. I knew he was going to do that, and he didn't know. I don't think he knew that you went to Girls High. But I said, when he start bragging about this whole CHS thing, we can go ahead with the GHS, and we outnumber him.
Yes,
exactly. Come on, you did your big one. I'm so proud of you. You already know that. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue, but it might be turning to purple.
You said purple?
What color? Oh, Lord.
Did you say purple?
Okay, my next question. Because I already know from whence you come when it comes to cooking the meals, because I've had a couple. So let me ask you a question. Now that the kids are older, what is your favorite thing that they want to eat from you? I'm always interested in the food piece.
The kids, they really like spaghetti. I feel a lot of things they really like, and that's the 3-year-old eats that one. I like seafood Alfredo. My husband likes when I make that. Some homemade sauce and all that jazz.
That's my jam.
Jeff actually cooks better than I do.
Well, talk about it. What's his favorite meal? What's the meal that you like of his? The favorite?
Anything the brother cooks.
Oh my.
Well, she got some points tonight. She got some points tonight. Okay, Jeff. Okay, brother.
I'm just satisfied.
Last question for you, Shameeka, is what are you reading?
So this is a book I just finished. We talk about the governance core. Anybody who wants to be a school board member should read this book. I carry it around with me. Unearthing Joy. This is a great book for you want to know how to really cultivate the genius in students. The points in here is really, really good.
Girl, I'm just
she came prepared.
Come on, Girls High is dope.
I always have books on me. Listen, depending on what I carry books.
Yay, thank you. So this is a time where we excuse ourselves, and you can go ahead and take about 10 to 15, 20 seconds just to empower our audience, okay? And thank you, Shameeka, for joining us.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I just want to remind you that our young people have a lot to bring to this world. They are our future. So the next time you walk by them, give them a smile, give them a what's up, see if you can meet a need, because they are capable of doing more than we believe they are capable of doing. And our job is to bring that out of them. Thank you for your time. Love and peace.
Next week on Athens Avenue.
I mean, even if you are looking up a message, like somebody can be the wrong minister, telling you the wrong way. But a lot of times you're seeing something on social media, it's such a short clip, right? I could watch a clip of 15 seconds that's supposed to be talking about the gospel, and it could be totally taken out of context, totally steering you the wrong direction. And I don't know if that happens more times than not.
We're 4 episodes in. Has everyone been
Wow, we at the halfway point already, right?
We're at the halfway point. But y'all see what I'm okay. Thank you for everybody that's sending help. Okay. Yes. We have had such a good season. Yeah, we're halfway already. Mm-hmm. I actually can't believe that. That's crazy. This time, I know. We're already in November. Mm-hmm. Like, it's almost the end of the year. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm going to bring the fellas back. Thank you for allowing us to be a part. On the Spot was amazing. It was amazing. Everything has just been amazing. So let me bring the fellas back so we can close out. And I do think it's on you today.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Yeah. We have had a whole lot of superstars on this here stage tonight, but I want y'all to know one thing. What? This is my house. And when I say whose house it is, no. All right. So anyway, let's close out. Thank you all who participated in making this show possible. We'd like to thank you to our man behind the scenes, Darnell Jackson, also known as DJ Juan. Thank you for all you do to make this show possible. Thank you for all of my co-hosts. Thank you for our special studio who let us do what we do. We call the Pels of Connections. So let's pray, and we're going to close out. Father, we thank you for your grace and mercy. We thank you for those who show up to hear more about your kingdom and grow for their edification and for your glory. Continue to watch us, keep us, protect us, and bring us back again. We pray in your son Jesus' name, who is the Christ. Amen.
Amen. I don't think I prayed last time, but peace.
No, you didn't pray last time.
I know. I just closed out.
Yeah.
I do have a prayer life, though, y'all. Don't be judging me.
No. Seriously, the first segment, she called him what? A reprobate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Person that don't pray to close out. That's like a reprobate mind.
Oh my